Hey there, everybody. This is Deb Matlock from Wild Rhythms. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. Today, I want to chat about something that I find to be a really fascinating topic. And I quite frankly discuss this with all of my students and course participants. And that question is this: what does it mean when we talk about nature connection? What is nature connection? I think it's a phrase that gets thrown around. I think we have a lot of preconceived notions for ourselves of what that means to be connected to nature. I hear often, oh, I just need to get connected to nature again, or I need to get out into nature. So I need to go hike a trail into the national forest, or I need to go to the wilderness, or I need to go to the ocean. And these are all absolutely valid ways to explore our connection to nature and to feel more of a connection to nature. But I think there's a really interesting exploration when we ask ourselves, what does nature connection mean to us? And how do we see it expressed in our lives, and how might we want to develop it further? So if we think of that as a very subjective thing on the one hand and also a very universal concept on the other, it's a really interesting tension in between. So the personal subjective part of nature connection that I'm referring to basically means, how do we see ourselves as part of nature? Do we view ourselves as animals in a big, vast ecosystem? Do we see ourselves as humans as separate from nature, or as somehow in a higher place than other beings in the natural world? Where do we see ourselves as part of it? What is our sense of ourselves as natural beings? And then from there, we can start to ask ourselves, so what does nature connection mean to me? The universal part of it is, in my mind anyways, we are all natural beings. We are all always connected to nature. Every sip of water, every bite of food, every breath of air, we can't be disconnected from nature. We can perceive that we're disconnected from nature. We can feel like we're disconnected, but if we were really disconnected, we would not be able to live. So there's a universal piece there, that the reality is we are ecological beings depending on life on this planet to sustain our own. We also contribute back with our waste, with our death when we're done, with our body going back to the earth. It's a beautiful connection, a beautiful constant synergy. However, as a nature connection practitioner myself, and I know many in my audience are practitioners, we need to ask ourselves, what does it mean? And how do we share this with others? And how do we help others develop it for ourselves, for themselves? So when I think of nature connection personally, I think of paying attention to what I'm eating, consciously, where does my food come from? And how did it end up on my plate, in my mouth, in my body? How do I behave in the world around me? How do I take care of my yard? How do I treat the wild places and the animals in my community? How do I nurture my own soul? I need to get outside a lot. It helps me to have a clear mind. It helps me to relax. It helps me to think. It helps me to explore my own sense of spirituality and sacredness, that I see myself as part of this landscape. I see the world around me showing me life and death and mystery every time I open my eyes out there. I need that for my soul. So I know for myself that my own nature connection practice requires that. Somebody else, I actually have a client who's a chef, and her nature connection practice was revolved basically around her cooking, her how she got her food ingredients and how she created it, and the respect and love that she put into her food. So all of these are really fun questions to ask yourself. So what does nature connection mean to you? How do you already see it expressed in your life? And are there areas where you feel a yearning to kind of dig in more deeply and to explore it further? And all of those things are fun things to get curious about, whether it's for yourself or for work with your clients or both. I would just encourage this journey. What does nature connection mean to you? And I would love to hear your thoughts on this. It's so fun to hear everybody's ideas around this. So feel free to reach out to me and let's just chat further. So thanks everybody. And if you're interested in more videos, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, and that way you won't miss any of these. Thanks a lot.